What if I told you the most unforgettable move a man can make, the one that hits her heart and lingers in her soul, is made in silence? No touch, no words, just presence. A presence so grounded, so internally composed, it says everything without needing to say a word. We've been taught to believe that love is won through grand gestures, lavish gifts, rehearsed lines, curated charm. But what if the most impactful move isn't physical at all? What if it's spiritual, psychological, invisible, yet undeniable? That's the move I'm talking about. The one that doesn't beg for attention, yet commands it. That doesn't chase love, yet attracts it. The move that hits her heart without touching her. So let me ask you, why do so many people struggle with relationships? Is it just bad timing, bad luck? Or is it a painful mirror reflecting their own unreadiness, their emotional chaos, their unresolved wounds, their passive desperation masked as pursuit? Maybe you've been there, sitting alone at night, scrolling through everyone else's happiness, wondering when it will finally be your turn. Maybe you've prayed for someone to see you, to choose you, to stay. And maybe deep down, you've asked yourself, what's wrong with me? You're not broken. You're just misaligned. And alignment doesn't begin with finding the right person. It begins with becoming the right person. Waiting is not weakness. It's not idleness. Waiting in the kingdom of God is warfare. It is active preparation. It is pruning, refining, shedding ego and insecurity so that when love finally shows up, it doesn't find you desperate for it. It finds you ready to steward it. Here's the truth. Love doesn't reward the loudest gesture. It responds to depth, to discipline, to a man who walks into a room and doesn't have to perform, because peace is already written all over his face. And if you don't remember anything else I say today, remember this. The man who doesn't need to touch her to move her is the one who lives in such truth that his stillness makes noise. That's the move. And it begins with you. Let's confront something uncomfortable. Most people don't want love, they want relief. Relief from loneliness, relief from uncertainty, relief from the fear that they're somehow not enough. And in their pursuit of relief, they run not toward wholeness, but toward anyone who temporarily silences the noise of their own unrest. That's not love. That's escape. And escape never builds anything worth keeping. So ask yourself, is it fate that relationships keep falling apart? Or is it your refusal to confront the parts of yourself that keep sabotaging intimacy? We blame timing, we blame others, we even blame God. But rarely do we take inventory of our own character. Could it be that what you're calling a delay is actually divine mercy, giving you space to grow into who you need to be? I remember a man I spoke with, not unlike many of you. He told me he had waited for love, that he had prayed, that he had hoped. But beneath all of that hope was a bitter resentment. He was angry. Angry that women didn't see his worth. Angry that life hadn't rewarded his patience. But the truth? He hadn't been waiting. He had been hiding. He hadn't developed himself emotionally. He had stayed stagnant, thinking that simply wanting a good woman was enough to deserve one. You cannot attract what you have not prepared for. Desperation is not a cry for love. It is a billboard for your wounds. And nothing repels authentic connection faster than a soul screaming, "Please validate me." Because real attraction is quiet. It is confident. It doesn't chase. It draws. Why? Because competence, self-respect, and purpose are magnetic. They tell the world, I know who I am. I'm not here to be completed. I'm here to complement. This changes everything. Marriage isn't a trophy you win for surviving your singleness. It is a spiritual covenant, a demand for stewardship, not just desire. And until you've learned to govern yourself, your impulses, your ego, your trauma, you are not ready to govern a household, let alone a sacred union. So here is your charge. Stop waiting. Stop begging. Stop blaming timing, your past, or someone else's rejection. Instead, become the person who embodies what you desire. Do the work, confront your shadows, heal what's broken, and build a life so rich in character, peace, and purpose that the right person doesn't complete it, they recognize it. Because here's the undeniable truth. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's the mic drop. And for some of you, that's the wake-up call. Let me be clear from the start. Chasing someone who does not value you is not romantic, it's reckless. It's not loyalty, it's a lack of self-worth in disguise. Somewhere along the line, you were taught that pursuing someone harder would make them finally see your value. That if you just proved your intentions, stayed consistent, and sacrificed more, love would arrive. But that belief isn't love, that belief is scarcity. And scarcity will have you begging for attention instead of becoming attention worthy. So here's the uncomfortable question. Why do so many people struggle in the relationships? Is it because they're unlucky, because their standards are too high? Or is it because they've built their identity around being chosen instead of becoming someone worth choosing? I once knew a woman who spent years waiting on a man to make up his mind. She twisted herself into emotional knots, trying to be more of what he wanted, more agreeable, more available, less opinionated. She thought her loyalty would earn her a crown. Said it earned her a chair in the audience while he crowned someone else. She confused availability with value. She chased, and in chasing, she lost herself. And here's the brutal truth. Chasing is not love. It's fear wearing perfume. The fear of being alone. The fear of not being seen. The fear that if you stop giving, you'll be forgotten. But the people who truly see you will never require you to lose yourself to gain them. Real attraction is not born in performance. It's born in presence. People don't fall for you because you chase them. They fall because you've mastered the art of stillness. The kind of stillness that radiates certainty. The kind that says, I am whole, even without your validation. Here's the shift. You don't earn love by chasing it. You attract love by embodying it. The relationship you want is not a transaction, it's a reflection. So what does your reflection currently say? Are you presenting yourself as an asset or as an audition? Because love that must be constantly pursued will also constantly disappear. But love that is drawn to strength, self-worth, and divine alignment, that love stays. This is your invitation. Stop performing, stop pleading, stop running toward people who won't walk with you. Instead, do the deeper work. Heal the wound that tells you you're not enough unless you're chasing. Build a life that is so rich in identity, purpose, and clarity that love becomes a byproduct, not a prize. And here's your mic drop moment. You don't need to chase love. When you become love, that is the move that hits her heart without ever touching her. If you're still sitting around hoping love will fall into your lap while your life remains in disarray, let me lovingly but directly say this. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. So many people convince themselves they're being patient. But what they're actually doing is hiding. Hiding behind prayer while avoiding discipline. Hiding behind hope while resisting growth. Hiding behind divine timing as an excuse not to take divine responsibility. The truth, God does not bless who you pretend to be. He blesses who you are becoming. And becoming requires movement. Not random busyness, but intentional preparation. Let me ask you something real. Why do relationships fail even when someone gets exactly what they prayed for? Why does a person finally meet someone good, kind, stable, and still sabotage it? Because you don't attract what you want, you attract what you're ready for. And if your heart, mind, and habits are unprepared, even a blessing will feel like a burden. I once coached a man who spent years praying for a wife. He wanted her to be wise, godly, emotionally mature, but he was none of those things himself. He had no emotional vocabulary, no spiritual foundation, no understanding of leadership beyond domination. And when a good woman finally entered his life, she left. Not because she was afraid of love, but because she could see he wasn't ready to carry it. And here's the uncomfortable truth. God doesn't give you what you're not prepared to steward. That's not punishment. That's mercy. A relationship isn't a rescue mission, it's a partnership. And partnerships require competence, clarity, and calling. The shift: stop viewing marriage as a finish line. See it for what it is, a ministry assignment. That's right. It's not about completing you, it's about completing a purpose. That's why you must build your character, your mindset, your walk with God before the person comes. Because when they arrive, it's too late to start building the foundation. That foundation should already be you. So I challenge you, get serious about preparation. Build your disciplines. Heal your wounds. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to lead yourself before trying to lead someone else. Stop asking God for a partner you're not ready to be partnered with. Because love doesn't show up for potential, it shows up for readiness. And here's the mic drop. If not building yourself, you're blocking what God's trying to bring to you. Divine timing won't save you from the consequences of unpreparedness, but preparation is the move that hits her heart without even touching her. If you're still measuring your readiness for love by how lonely you feel on a Friday night, you've misunderstood the assignment. Loneliness isn't proof you're ready for love. It's proof you're still becoming. Here's what we're not told enough. Love is not a balm for a wounded identity. It's a mirror. A relationship doesn't fix your insecurities, it magnifies them. It brings everything buried to the surface. The trust issues, the jealousy, the fear of abandonment, the need to control, the addiction to validation. And yet, too many are chasing relationships hoping they will feel whole, when what they really need is healing, not a honeymoon. Let me ask you something. Is your desire for love coming from your faith or your fear? Because a lot of what people call romantic longing is really unresolved trauma. And trauma doesn't want love, it wants relief, it wants distraction. It wants someone to fill the emptiness that only God and disciplined inner work can ever truly fill. I knew a woman once who spent years chasing men who didn't love her, who ghosted her, breadcrumbed her, used her, but she kept running back. Not because she didn't know better, but because every rejection confirmed the story she already believed about herself. I'm not worthy of being chosen. She wasn't looking for love. She was trying to rewrite a narrative from childhood, and every man she ran to was another attempt to prove she mattered. That isn't dating, that's self-destruction in disguise. Desperation is loud, it's impatient, it settles, it manipulates, it performs. And here's the truth. Real love doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to wholeness. You want to attract someone who respects you? Then stop giving discounts on access to your heart. Respect is attracted to boundaries, to standards, to purpose, not panic. The shift? You don't chase love, you grow into someone who radiates it. Marriage isn't a rescue plan, it's a responsibility. It doesn't complete you, it tests you. It tests your patience, your integrity, your ability to forgive, your discipline in showing up when it's inconvenient. And if you're not already practicing those things now, love will not suddenly install them later. So here's your challenge. Stop looking for someone to save you from your own emptiness. That's not their job. That's your mission. Build a life that makes you proud. Heal the parts of you that flinch when you're loved properly. Strengthen the muscles that love will one day depend on. Because the version of you that settles is not the version of you that's ready. And here's your mic. If your desire for a relationship is stronger than your commitment to growth, then what you're craving isn't love. It's escape. And no one escapes into love and comes out whole. You either rise to it or you fall apart pretending. If you still believe that love is something you stumble into by accident or receive as a reward for being patient, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak wrapped in false hope. Love is not given to the one who waits the longest. It's given to the one who prepares the deepest. Why do so many people keep falling into toxic cycles, misaligned connections, and emotionally unavailable partners? Is this simply fate playing games, or is it a direct mirror reflecting the parts of themselves they've neglected to grow? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are prepared for. Let me paint you a picture. There's a man, mid-30s, ambitious, God-fearing, but quietly bitter. He's been waiting for his Proverbs 31 woman to arrive. He goes to church, pays his tithes, prays for a wife. But he's emotionally immature, avoids accountability, and thinks leadership is control, not service. He believes divine timing is about waiting passively while heaven drops a perfectly packaged partner into his lap. And as years pass, he doesn't grow, he hardens. His standards rise, but his self-awareness doesn't. His prayers become complaints, and eventually, love starts to feel like a punishment withheld, not a gift earned. But here's the truth no one told him. God doesn't give us what we pray for. He gives us what we're prepared for. And that preparation, it's not cute. It's not comfortable. It's painful. It's pruning. It's character formation. And if you're not willing to become the kind of person who can carry love with maturity, you will keep sabotaging the very thing you say you're waiting for. Desperation is seductive, but it's deceptive. It whispers, settle, lower your standard, chase them, convince them. And the more you entertain it, the further you drift from self-respect. Because real attraction isn't built on your longing, it's built on your discipline, your consistency, your emotional integrity, and yes, your spiritual maturity. My marriage isn't a fantasy, it's a covenant. It is service under pressure. It is sacrifice when no one is clapping. It is leadership that doesn't dominate and submission that doesn't disappear. You think you're ready for love? Ask yourself this. Are you ready to confront your pride? Are you ready to apologize when you're wrong? Are you ready to love someone on the days you feel unseen? Here's the shift. Stop waiting for the right person to choose you. Start becoming the person who chooses rightly. Because the kind of love you want won't come to a version of you that keeps blaming fate. It will come to the version of you that owns your growth like your life depends on it. Because it does. And here's the mic drop moment. You don't find love when you finally meet the right person. Everything that you finally become the right person. Everything else is just timing catching up to your transformation.